when it's easier and more accepted that a man just go ahead and cheats, or his wife say, yeah, you can have a girlfriend and go trick off woo woo, but don't bring any outside babies home or don't bring any diseases home, but go ahead and have fun or whatever. You know, that's more acceptable in today's society than having another wife. Assalamu alaikum, peace. I'm Coach Nazir.
And I'm Coach Nyla.
We are two of the three founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships, as well as two of the three authors of the book, Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored. With that being said, we want to share some information that I found is a long time coming. We wanted to talk about it, discuss it, and everything else, and just really get to it. But since my man, Chris Rock, has responded via his comedy special.
You're waiting for it.
Regarding the Will Smith slap heard all around the world. It's important for us to really discuss, because when we talk about masculinity and we're talking about men as being the qawamun, or the protectors and the maintainers of women and so on, there are two very distinct terms, one in English and one in Arabic. All right, the Arabic term, dayuth. A dayuth is related to a man who has no shame regarding his wife or female family members, sisters, aunts, mothers, whatever. No shame regarding them at all, regarding any type of shyness, any type of protection. There's nothing with that. Really a punk, if you will. And the English term for something like that, especially dealing with, you know, the Will Smith and Jada entanglement debacle stuff, in English, that's known as a cuckold.
Yep.
So, and people call them a cuck or a cuckold. So yeah, those definitions really apply in the situation. However, when I look at it, I see that there's an entire war, an entire agenda behind it. So with the emasculation of men, it doesn't matter if you're talking about clothing wise, what they're wearing, what they're promoting, this soft, weak, and there's another term for it in English that I come from, and for at least for my generation, growing up in the 90s, is bitch-assness.
Yeah, say bam.
You know, so there's some things that go along with that. But let's dig a little bit deeper into it, because there's been a fight against it for a while. Even brothers like Andrew Tate. You know, I just saw a Muslim brother, but Andrew Tate's another black man. Yeah, he's black for those of you who don't know.
Right.
His daddy from Shy. But, you know, so there's been this whole manosphere talk and everything else, and masculinity, and then, you know, again, the Will Smith, Jada stuff been talked about for quite some time. So the reason we're discussing it, because there are many lessons to learn, and since they put it out there, well, let's learn the lessons.
Yeah, well, that's the interesting thing too, because when it happened, the slap heard around the world, it was so many things that I was feeling, because, okay, I'm like, you know, I've watched a number of Will Smith movies and different things like that, and I was like, dang, that's just bad. Like, it's a bad look. And when you really look at it, I was like, oh my gosh, he was laughing at the joke at first. And then next thing you know, this slap happens. And I was like, how the heck did that happen? So I looked at it as this manipulation tactic on his wife, not saying not to disregard what he, you know, that's his responsibility. He still shouldn't have did it. But my thing is that we have to be careful of who we are married to or we're in a relationship with, and these different things like that, because it's been a long time coming, you know, with the whole entanglement thing. And I really do feel like it was
What's been a long time coming?
Will just kind of had, I guess, reaching a breaking point, so to speak, but I feel like he went off on the wrong person. And I think that is another part of the BAM thing, when you go off on the wrong person, and because and she even emasculated
redirecting your energy.
Much.
That's the same thing. Somebody gets upset at work, their boss says something, and they feel like a punk, but then they come home, hit the dog, beat the wife, beat the kids, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's redirected anger. I mean, that's basically what Chris Rock was saying. Like, look, I ain't do this. but you chose to pick on me.
Me, right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's really, as in Chris said in his, I think it was a good response. You know, listen, people got to speak what they feel and share it. Now, again, he's a comedian, so the comedy and everything was behind it. But when people say there's truth in jest, it was a bitch move.
Yeah. The interesting thing is, at first, I was nervous about Chris speaking out the way he did, because I was like, I don't want it to seem as though that, and I just got anything to do with me. I'm just saying that when he spoke about it, it made me nervous about where it may seem like, okay, now you whining about it, and now you complaining and, just dragging it all out. But then
Chris
I was like, I watched it, and I watched it, and I was
Chris
like,
got paid $40 million
and I didn't know
from
that.
Netflix.
But my thing
he
was,
cashed in on it.
But the way he did it, and I like the way he did it, because he didn't go all in like they making it seem, or I guess it's supposed to be Jada's camp supposed to be talking about how he's obsessed with her and that's why and da-da-da. So that's the interesting thing where, no, for one, he's a comedian, even with the joke that he made during the Oscars and even jokes he made before. I remember one of the comedians, I don't remember who it was, but it's like, if you're not being talked about, then you should worry because you're irrelevant. So now you having a problem with me saying something. And the joke wasn't even anything to get mad about, but I guess now they're talking about because it was about her health reasons.
And nothing to do with that.
Exactly. I don't believe none of that.
Regardless, I don't want to get into that part of it, because I want to talk about how the blowback affects and really gets to the core of masculinity, because that's not masculinity. What was done wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
So, and I don't believe in a term called toxic masculinity. There's no such thing.
Right. I don't.
But what was lacking, or what happened, was toxic in and of itself.
Yep.
That type of behavior, when a man does not utilize or have or possess the ability to be stoic in a situation, to be able to sit back and evaluate something, then that person is a problem. It's problematic. If we're built in talking about protecting and providing, if we're built for war and expansion and conquest and so on, then there's no place for somebody to be able to lose their emotions at any time in order to come back later and apologize. That gets people killed.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So having the steady ability to not have a hormonal cycle that causes you to be up today or down the next day and everything else is where we have a strength. That's where we're supposed to have an advantage. And then you choose someone that that gone well is smaller than you. And nobody likes bullies. Smaller, can't do anything, and use that as the moment to shine as a man. No, that's weak. That's hella weak. That's that cuckold behavior.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
It's ill, but the other problem is how that looks in society today.
Right.
When we talk about polygyny, I've been married to Coach Nyla now for over 13 years, as she is my second wife, or she's my subsequent wife. I have two wives. All right, you got Coach Fatimah, married to her 28 years, and been married to Coach Nyla now over 13. So practicing polygyny. That behavior radiates through many different forms and types of relationships. So if a man is able to easily be manipulated and not be himself, for example, you have men, we talk about, we're pro-morals. Doesn't matter if you practice polygyny, monogamy, you want to be, whatever, we're pro-morals. So when it's easier and more accepted that a man just go ahead and cheats, or his wife say, yeah, you can have a girlfriend to go trick off woo-woo, but don't bring any outside babies home, or don't bring any diseases home, but go ahead and have fun or whatever. That's more acceptable in today's society than having another wife. Or the man's like hiding the wife, I spent 5 years, you got 4-5 children, you got all the type of stuff in your line. That's that dayuth behavior. Yes. You still got to stand up regardless and take care of your business. Or choose not to. But if you go the immoral route, now you got babies, you got bastards you're creating, because these are societal terms that are well known. Bastard means this child is born out of wedlock. That used to be something of shame, where now it's the norm, where now we're celebrating Kiki Palmer being pregnant, bringing a bastard into the world. Why? We think it's important to have two parents. We think that familial structure is important. Or you got A$AP Rocky and Rihanna bring another bastard into the world. You got Nick Cannon bringing plenty bastards all around. And all that's showing is that there's a lack of respect for the family structure, which is supposed to be the foundation. And if we have a question of what's a man or what's a woman, or you need to know a pronoun, then something ain't being done right. Or you don't know you a victim of that war and that propaganda.
Right. Yeah. That was crazy. Like you unpacked a lot of things what you just said. And my whole thing was on this whole manipulation part. And when you even brought up about the man still has to be, him. He still has to stand in his own masculinity and not let the manipulation of the women around him, and i.e. could be his wife, to damage and destroy his character. Because that's what I felt about the slap when it comes to Will Smith, and Chris Rock, also in the different, even with different clients and stuff that we've coached, and comments that have been in our inboxes about women who are being divorced because, the husband is now saying, well, my wife can't deal with it, or I can't deal with her being feeling this way, so I'm going to divorce you. Or, like, this other person is expendable. Like, they're disposable. They have no feelings, no emotions. That one person who sent in a comment stated that she left her job because he said that he would, what a husband would do, protect, provide. But when you're not protecting, the entire family structure, then what does that look like? What does those things look like?
Polygamy wives.
Reporting for duty, husband, sir.
Formation. I am Coach Nazir.
I am Coach Fatimah, his wife.
And I am Coach Nyla. I am also his wife.
We are the founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships and Polygamy Bootcamp. And if you think that's how polygamy actually works,
you are sadly mistaken.
But you were laughing, right? I know you're laughing. That's funny. Anyway, we're also the authors of Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored. And we want to let you know something, because when it comes to practicing polygamy, there's this whole fantasy on how that is, at least on the men's side. Like, I'll do this, you're going to be step, lock, and step. Not at all. Not at all. The challenge is, when we embarked on our polygynous journey, before us raising, 12 children and traveling the world and everything else, it looked a whole lot messier and it was a whole lot more challenging. All right. So what we've done is we put a special gift together for you at polygamybootcamp.com to kind of let you know what the pillars are to really practicing it at a high level, especially if you're new, or if you just have the idea, or maybe you want to just kind of figure a few things out.
Right. Yeah.
Many initial wives believe that they're being replaced, or that their husband doesn't love them anymore, and they don't really know how to deal with that or their emotions.
And many subsequent wives, incoming wives, if you will, or second wives, have the feeling of where do they belong, or that they are not good enough and they have to do extra in order to get the acceptance and the attention and the affection of their husband. And we dispel all of that. Polygamybootcamp.com.
Go there, get your free gift. You will thank us later, especially if you're looking at practicing polygyny in a healthy fashion. Make sure you click the link below. Go ahead and get your free gift, and we look forward to sharing more fun stuff with you. So shape up
or ship out.
Click the button below. Assalamu alaikum.
Peace.
That look weak. I mean, again, so even when it comes to polygyny, we're talking about manipulation by wives. All right, whether that's the first wife throwing temper tantrums or fighting and all that kind of stuff, and you knew this as a man, you already need to be evaluating from beforehand, from the time you decide or you have the idea, there all the way through. You know what I'm saying? You as a man, supposed to be the one of strategy. Supposed to be the one that's level-headed, supposed to be the one that's able to lead. All right. So whether or not you did it, and then now you feel repercussions, you already knew beforehand there's likely going to be something.
Exactly.
So you decide to address it head on, which we suggest is best practice, or you do that shortly thereafter or what have you, but it still needs to be addressed because now you're dealing with another human. And what happens is your character, who you are, all of a sudden, well, I'm going to divorce you because, you knew, so forget you. This is somebody else's life that likely you've already, been intimate with.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They just pushed it aside. Or you have the manipulative subsequent wife that wants to come in thinking, oh, I'm going to take over. Well, I'm the new shiny thing, so I'm this. He's going to like me better and all that kind of stuff and come in. Listen, we got examples. And we as Muslims, we got examples from the best human to ever live, alayhi salatu wasalam. We had a situation where even though he was married to multiple women, the wife that was his favorite thought she was his best. which was incorrect. And then the Prophet ﷺ had to let her know she wasn't.
Exactly.
She got the picture, she understood. You know what I'm saying? She couldn't compare to our mother, Khadija, radiallahu anha. You know what I mean? So that type of ego and these types of things are challenges. Or you go into Surah Tahrim, the very first ayat is discussing this, where the Prophet ﷺ wanted to please his wives. And, you know, emotionally, they didn't like some stuff that he did. That was halal, that was fine. But Allah Ta'ala corrected that behavior. You know what I'm saying? So there are many different steps because Islam, or for example, your creator and who you are, doesn't care about the outside stuff. As a man, you just step up and be a man to lead. That means you have to have emotional intelligence, have to have this leadership ability. You have to know when somebody's trying to play you, or at least have an inkling of that. Just the whole fact that these people, Will and Jada, at the end of their thing, talking about bad marriage for life and all that kind of stuff.
We ride together,
we die together.
Bad marriage for life.
And everything else speaks to deep-seated issues that they need to work out, period.
Exactly.
You know, seeing her whole issue when it came to marriage and not want to be married, and his whole thing of not wanting to ever let go no matter what she does and will accept anything, and then putting stuff out into the public and being used for views. That's, you know, it's shameful. Again, cuckold, dayuth, bitch made. That's what it says to me.
Yeah.
But when I see brothers who are attempting to practice polygyny, look, there's certain characteristics, there's certain hits you're gonna have to take. That happens. You a provider, you a protector, you a hunter, you one that expands. There's hits that you're going to have to take. There's going to be things that you're going to have to deal with as a man. It's your duty to move forward. It's not supposed to be easy.
Exactly.
You know, I think what a mentor said a while, he's like, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better.
Indeed.
So get better. Challenging yourself, stepping up to the next level. All right. Those are the type of things that are attractive.
That's the thing too, when you were talking about that and stepping up and being a leader. You think about, you know, men and the crazy thing is I'll say strong men or masculine men or the masculine men. And I was like, I shouldn't have to say masculine men. That should actually not even be a term. It seems like it's redundant.
Right.
You know, you say men, supposed to automatically see that, you know, men are supposed to be masculine. But the thing is too, to stop the manipulation, you have men being too afraid to say something or to put people in their place. You know, or put wives in their place. I was like, well, you know, she may leave me, or she may take the kids, or she may do these different things. So, or I might look like the bad guy, you know, so I don't want to look like the bad guy. And you see that all around the board, whether it's in monogamy or polygyny, that they don't stand up enough. And now it's gotten to a point where women act like they're just ruling everything. And, you know, it's like, it's what I say. And if it's not what I say, when I said it, how I want it, when I want it.
It's that whole switching and reversing of roles.
Yeah.
We believe in gender roles fully.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? If the man's going to lead the family, he's supposed to lead the family. That's what we feel. The man is the imam, the leader of the family, right? And you're responsible for your family. Those roles aren't switched. There's a supportive role, then there's a primary role. The primary role is supposed to be the man has these rules and responsibilities. You don't follow that, that's your business.
The duty.
But we do. You know what I'm saying? Because when it comes down to it, at its bare primal level, when you're talking about an attack, when you're talking about protecting the fam, those are the men that get out there. Not those who feel like something. I feel like a man today, because I haven't heard that one. You know, but men come, when we're talking about conquering and expand, well, you let men conquer women because they feel like a woman, and they coming in literally beating them up in MMA fights,
right.
Beating them up in all these sports and all this kind of stuff because you feel a certain way, or you walking, you know, that's a whole nother discussion. But to get to the crux of the matter is being a man, being masculine has many different sides to it. Knowing when to be able to provide comfort and compassion on something, knowing when to be firm and stern on some things, knowing that it's still your responsibility to be level-headed, to control your emotions and make intelligent decisions that's best for the family structure. Even if that means you need to go ahead and check your wives, check yourself first. And also recognizing, look, there may be an end to it. There's going to be an end one way or the other.
Right.
Somebody's going to leave the planet, the crust of the earth. Well, we all will, but somebody's going to leave it first or at the same time. But, you know, my point is, you know, we have to do our best And we should be doing our best. We don't have the privilege of giving excuses, but I didn't know, and I wouldn't. No, that's not respectable. As a self-respecting individual, having self-awareness, having self-discipline is expected of a man. So when we talk about a man, it's sad that when she talks about, oh, masculine man, or I have to say man of value, that has values. Because there are those who get out there and are causing a lot of the problems where women think they can just step up and run stuff instead of being those who provide. Or they complain about the masculine women, but you out there spreading your royal oats and not being responsible for your pleasures. So you got all these girlfriends or jump downs or whatever's, friends with benefits, whatever you want to term that, instead of having it in honorable fashion and then get mad at the blowback. It's our responsibility. And I think Malcolm said it best when he said, look, you can look at the level of society, why they treat their women. So anyway, with that being said, it's a very serious topic. We have sons. You know what I'm saying? We have sons, we have daughters. So we're not just, just talking from our selves and being out in the dating pool to who to marry. Nah, you know what? We're raising masculine boys to understand what masculinity actually is.
I'm glad you said that too, because it made me think of a talk. It was like a woman's talk that they were speaking about raising feminist boys. And I said, that sounds so stupid. I said, because when it comes down to it, one or two things are gonna happen. They're going to be either really feminine boys, or they're going to be, or, others, or whatever you want to call them, or you're going to have them where they are not protecting of the women. They're like, well, you just like me. You go ahead and go out there and fight. Oh, go ahead and,
shoot, chivalry, kill it.
Whatever. I don't need to help you. I don't need to protect you for what? If you're raising them that way. If you're raising feminist boys. No, you want to raise protectors, providers, maintainers. And you also, as far as men and young boys go into raising them into men, and then as well as the women or young girls raising them into women, to be those nurturers, those, to be supportive, to be submissive. I remember it was a doctor, a guy, he was talking about he had clients that had like heavy fibroids, women, because of the stress and the masculinity, high masculinity. If they're like in those type of environments, they have heavy fibroids, and you take them out of that environment, they start to shrink and go away. Like, he's seen it happen. So it's like, we're not built for that. Like, men are built for what men are built for, and women are built for what women are built for. But when we blur the lines and skew everything, then this is what it starts to look like. You got, people cross-dressing and boys wearing makeup and changing their gender and all these other things like that. And then you have women saying, well, what do we do? Well, we'll, take care of ourselves.
But you don't know how to define what is a woman. Bleeders, feeders, whatever, all this type of stuff. Yes. So when you get to that level, if you don't already recognize that there's clearly an open, devilish plan for the destruction of the family, which is supposed to be the bedrock of society, then you've already lost and you're part of the problem.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
Totally agree.
Yeah. With that being said, especially when it comes to polygyny, that's one of the reasons we created the Polygamy Masterclass. So if you're interested in learning more about polygyny from the whole idea stage, before you even say anything, when you're thinking about it, all the way to actually transitioning in a healthy way, definitely need to check that out. So if you made it this far in the video, even though it's not long at all, but we hope you appreciate it, stuck with us, let us know you did. All right, let us know what you got from the video, some aha moments. You agree with us? You disagree with us? Put it down in the comments below, and let us know that you did watch the video, and the way you can do that is by putting return of the original family below. So type in the comments, return of the original family. That's natural born humans that are male and female, XX and XY chromosome at birth. All right. So if you appreciate that, we appreciate you sticking in with us. Remember, a wish changes nothing, but a decision changes everything. And to always rock out some GLC.
All right. And make sure you're growing intentionally, loving fearlessly,
and connecting on a higher level every single day. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.